It's been a month since Battlefield 6 released, and today an update came out with a lot of great fixes for the game, most notably the top 3 here. They've stopped players being able to reach inaccessible locations by whacking a drone with a sledgehammer, they fixed the bug with the lock-guided missiles not being countered by flares, and they fixed incorrect spread values on guns, typically after movement. So 2 big bugs squashed and gunplay should feel a bit more consistent now. There's a load of other stuff in the patch, too much to get through this now, but it's no doubt an excellent update for the game. Obviously, BF6 in general has been a massive success so far. I'm having a blast with the multiplayer, and you know what, it's just amazing to have a modern BF game again with a good launch and stable foundation to build off for the future. However, I do feel like they've dropped the ball a bit and lost momentum. Some cracks are starting to show, and Battlefield Studios have already made some mistakes on the way that could have been avoided and might pop up again if they're not careful. Recent reviews are now mixed on Steam. From an outsider's perspective, Battlefield seems to have a problem with looking back at missteps it has already made in past titles, in fact repeating them with this game. So in this video we're going to talk about that, mainly playing devil's advocate, but also I think further problems could be exacerbated if these issues are not addressed. Just my opinion, of course. I'm not doing this to just complain for the sake of complaining. Bit of constructive criticism, and I'm coming from the perspective of being a Battlefield fan since BF 1942. So in this video we're going to talk about BF6 and what I think some of the missteps, mistakes and problems are with the game. I've just noticed a few things recently that have built up and could ultimately turn people off from the game and the franchise, killing its growth and longevity. Also, I wanted to say thanks to you guys. We managed to raise $11,465 for the special effect charity. You're all amazing. That's going to make a huge difference. Thank you. And the footage you're seeing on the screen here is from the new BF6 map that's releasing next week on November 18th called Eastwood. It's really good. I think it's going to be a fan favorite. So back on topic, let's get into it then. First off, slow reactions. Whilst I just applauded the latest major fixes in the patch today, it did take an awful long time to get here. Both the drone glitch and IFV laser lock missile bug gained popularity 4 weeks ago, and I would say both could be classed as game breaking. Yes, they were map specific, but on Breakthrough in particular, the drone hammer bug caused a lot of problems. Cairo and the New York maps, for example. On maps like Firestorm, Sobek and Mirak Valley, if a player knew what they were doing, they could easily deny any enemy air vehicle without moving far from the spawn. One hit and they were gone. No counter. At least these bugs are fixed now, but the slow response time is a bit concerning to some. Next up, the skins. I know a lot of people just don't care about this stuff, and that's fine. There are many gamers out there who, when they saw Battlefield 6 trailers for the first time, were very impressed with how grounded and realistic the characters in the game looked. Cohesive and based off real military wear for specific soldiers and armies. This was a nice change of pace from Call of Duty over the last couple of years, but we all knew it was going to happen. And we talked about it too. Season 1 dropped, and now that original aesthetic has completely gone out of the window. Some people who bought the game have branded this as the BF6 skins rug pull. To their credit though, after backlash, Battlefield Studios did tone down this bright green skin and remove this blue one with a face mask from the game entirely, but many remain in the game that completely destroy any sense of a unified artistic direction. An easy class identification, that's just completely out of the picture now. If they push this too far, people are going to get sick of it. The best solution would be to give people a toggle for authentic base skins only, or let people pick in their own games what they want specific classes and soldiers to look like. From my perspective, there hasn't been any skin in the battle pass that I was excited to equip, and the only one in the store that I've been interested in so far was the one that released today, the Lead the Way pack based on the US Army Rangers. This is modeled off real camo and equipment. Looks sick, I'm buying it. Nothing else though has appealed to me up to this point, and I feel like they could do way better here. This is only going to get worse too every time a new season drops, unless they change their approach to skins and go with their original direction and mentality. The battle pass, as I just mentioned too, ends up making the game feel like a cheap free-to-play game. 7 different categories here, and maybe I'm just in the minority, but honestly, just give me a horizontal line like how it used to be. What was wrong with that? Nice and simple, and I can see where I'm at with my overall progress easily. I realize that they've done it this way perhaps to let people get to what they want faster and pick and choose. But this type of style, this particular presentation, I don't think it really suits the vibe and the core audience for Battlefield. I feel like it could have been done a lot more classier and mature. The UI on the main menu has adopted the Hulu Netflix style with the tiles to seemingly just move around all the time. Could I please just have it so the first 3 are always Conquest, Breakthrough and Escalation? That'd be cool. Server browser, Here we go again, 1 month after launch, there's still no official quick play servers in the server browser. The amount of emails I've had from people in low population regions like South Africa, UAE, Australia, saying that when they matchmake, they end up with a load of bots in their lobbies or it takes ages to find a game. I've even had people tell me that they're from the East Coast of America, but they keep getting put in West Coast servers, so their ping is a lot higher than it really needs to be. I don't understand the problem though. Please educate me on this. Why can we not just have the quick play official servers listed in the server browser too, like we used to have in previous games? So then people have got the option and choice to play what they like. Could we also have a large quantity of persistent official servers here too? Portal next. While it's no doubt incredible what you can do with Portal, the way that this has been launched and managed so far has been bad. The bot farming XP saga has been a disaster, and Battlefield have flip-flopped on their decisions related to this multiple times now. One of the core issues related to this though was the progression and insane challenges in the game, most of which have been updated thankfully, but this took almost 4 weeks to address. I think it was a mistake to limit so many guns and important class gadgets to grindy challenges too. These are pivotal things that should have been tied to your overall level, like traditional games. Yes, if it's seasonal content and a couple of new gadgets and guns are released, I'm down for a challenge, but I think that base game guns and pivotal class gadgets like C4 and deploy beacons should not have been challenge unlocks. And bless the community members who have been building plugins, map remakes and awesome custom experiences too, but unfortunately no one plays them because you can't earn XP on them, and outside of being a large content creator who organizes an event, there's no way to get people to play them in the first place. If they want their players to take Portal seriously and be engaged with it, Battlefield need to do a way better job of working with Portal creators and highlighting modes that are impressive and popular, officially hosting them and pointing people towards them in the main menu in servers that they can earn full XP on. The community are making incredible new content for players to play in your game and increase the longevity of it for free, but right now, you're not supporting it. Enable that, highlight it, and let them earn full XP on it so they actually want to be there. Otherwise, I fear that Portal will just die. It won't be supported and it's just going to be reduced to XP bot farming servers. That'd be sad. There's incredible potential here. Don't waste it. Portal servers are currently only 30 tick rate too, reportedly, and you can definitely feel that when you play on them compared to official servers. Next up, Redsec, the Battlefield Battle Royale. This has been a huge letdown for me and it could have been so much better for my personal tastes. I don't think it was ready for release. It feels very ropey to me, unpolished and unfinished. 30 tick servers for most of the round that scale up at the end, but make the gunplay feel horrible for the majority of the game. It's a mostly uninspired map for me, boring missions and a bad loot system. As a Battle Royale mode, I think it's just okay, and it hasn't made the splash or impact that they wanted it to. Zooming out and looking at the online space, it doesn't seem that many people are talking about Redsec across the board on press sites, social media, YouTube and Twitch. On Steam, Redsec released on October 28, bringing the total player count of Battlefield 6 up to 549,000. On 2nd of November, it jumped up a little bit more to 564,000. Since then, it's dropped to 325,000, which is only slightly higher than the 319,000 players that the game had the day before Redsec went live. I'm no statistics expert, you could probably tell, and I may be wrong on this, but based on the Steam numbers right now, it doesn't look like the free-to-play Redsec has done much to accelerate the player count of the game or retain higher player count numbers overall. If it did, I think you'd see a much bigger spike here on Steam. The name Redsec 2 I think is awful, and it doesn't speak to outsiders as a Battle Royale game. Battlefield Royale, that would have been perfect. Redsec stands for Redacted Sector. What does that even mean or say? Warzone worked because it's obvious what it is, a war zone. Redsec though, doesn't mean anything. It doesn't pronounce or signify a free-to-play Battle Royale game at all, and I think it's a bad choice. I also think that they were quite bold releasing Redsec 2 days before Arc Raiders, and that was a mistake that could have been avoided. Surely they knew how much attention that game would have considering all of the previous hype and playtests. And this is kind of related to Season 1 in general too. I think that they released too many game modes at once. Gauntlet, Strike Point, Overshadowed could have come later down the line. Sabotage, another new game mode releasing this week, is not going to be played much at all based on my experience of it so far. Generally speaking, perhaps BF6 is trying to do too many things at once right now. They also had Redsec specific challenges too for multiplayer players that annoyed a large part of the player base for a few days before they changed it and that you re-roll them to multiplayer challenges instead. That was a terrible oversight, easily avoided if they thought about it a bit, and it resulted in mass review bombing on Steam. There's no solo mode in Redsec either. I think a lot of people would actually try it if it had that, but they're just not going to give it a look. Footstep audio, I do mention that later too for multiplayer, but in Redsec it's really bad. And also the volume of vehicles, IFVs, tanks, jeeps can be right next to you and you don't hear anything or something right at the last second and then it's too late. Finally for Redsec, they have just announced a content creator tournament for the Gauntlet game mode. That's pretty cool and I'm sure it will be a good show, but I think to start with, they should be focusing more on grassroots competitions with real players to grow the community rather than full-time YouTubers and Twitch streamers. You can't make esports happen in your game by force. You have to provide the tools and enable it, and this has to happen naturally and come from real players. There's a couple other things related to the party system and server browser as well. Sometimes if you're in a full party, you just can't queue for a match. Straight up doesn't work. We got that the other night trying to record squad up. And good luck trying to play with more than 4 people on an official server. Ain't gonna happen. For moment-to-moment gameplay, I would say visibility still needs a bit of work. Audio footsteps, sometimes you just don't hear anything when people run up to you. Don't like that. Class balance definitely needs some work. And I still get instances where it seems like I die instantly and shot around corners. It's not as bad as it was in the beta, but from time to time it does happen. So there's a few of my personal criticisms for you. How do you feel the game is going so far? And is there anything that you would add? Luckily, I think the majority of them are quite minor that could be fixed relatively easily if Battlefield Studios lock in and focus up. If I was in charge, I would focus now on prioritizing delivering more big maps, adding capability to server browser, and attempting to maintain the original art style for the game. I heard a rumor today too that they are working on 9 new game modes for BF6. Don't need to do that. Conquest, Breakthrough, Escalation, that's fine. Ultimately, a lot of these grievances do add up over time though. Battlefield 6 is off to a flying start for sure. I, like many others, are overall very happy and enjoying it. But don't forget, if you get enough minors in a driving test, you'll fail it. Thanks for watching. I'm off to go shoot some helicopters down. Bye bye.